Hello, my name is Illia Ukrainian. I'm from Year 8 Design and Technology Assessment. Good afternoon. Today I'll be making a very healthy vegetarian dumplings, or vareniki as it's called in Ukrainian. They'll contain potatoes, broccoli and carrots. Let's get on that cooking. Before I start, as safety is always important, I'll put on my apron and wash my hands. First of all, I'll be cooking the dough for our dumplings. So what we need, a tablespoon of melted butter. I'm going to put it in the microwave. Then we need 1 egg that I've washed. We need some warm water, flour, and a pinch of salt. So first, I've put in some flour, around 450 grams. Then, I'm going to put some oil that I've put in the microwave. Then, let's crack the egg. And now, a bit of water to finish it off. Let's mix it all up. Now that our dough is nearly put together, we're going to mix it well on a clean table. So this is how the dough looks after around 5 minutes of mixing it all together. In Ukraine, dough counts as a living creature. So after we finished making it, we put it in a bowl and we leave it there for around an hour to give it some rest. As our dough is having a bit of rest, let's move on to washing our potatoes, carrots and broccolis for our filling. As we've given a wash to all of our vegetables, let's give them a peel. So all the vegetables that I'm using right now are all local products of Australia. So we're gonna peel every single one, put it inside a pot, and we're gonna put it on heat and cook them for a bit. Let's put our potatoes on the gas. So what I like to do here is cut them up a bit into quarters and then add a bit of salt. And then cook them for around 15 minutes. And then I'll put the broccoli in around 5 minutes through so that it starts cooking. Because broccolis take shorter than potatoes. Let's turn on the fan and leave it there for 15 minutes. As our potatoes and our dough are still in the process of cooking, I'll cut up the onions and shred the carrots. Let's start with the onions. You've got to be careful with knife when you do it. Use your knuckles to not cut off bits of your finger. Cut it in half. It always has to be flat when it's on the board. And then cut it in semicircles. So we're done with the onions, now we put them in the bowl. So the onions look beautiful, and now step onto the carrots. You gotta keep your fingers away from the shredder. You gotta be careful when you come to an end. So the next step, you gotta fry onions and carrots together. Half of them will go into our filling, into vareniki, into our dumplings, and half will go as a side bite. So let's turn on our gas. And then to fry them, we need to put in some oil. 2 tablespoons. Now we wait for it to melt. Around 10 minutes have passed since we put in our potatoes. Let's open the lid and see what we got. So right now I'm using all of natural products that are in Australia, made in Australia and in Ukraine. So 10 minutes have passed, as I already told you. Let's put in some broccoli. Give it a stir. My bad, sorry. And close it up with a lid. And leave it on for 5-10 more minutes. Some of this will go into a sauce, and some will go into our filling. So half of it will go into our sauce, put some to this bowl, some sauce, putting together our filling. This smells amazing. So as we put our filling in the bowl, it's a bit hot. Now we've got to mix it all up, mash it, not too much, but as much as we need so that it can fit into our dough. So now we've mixed this all up. Now we get to get ready for the dough. It's already been some time. We had a bit of a rest. We put some flour on our bench. It's clean. I've cleaned it again. And then we get our dough out. You gotta be careful with it to not wake it up again. We cut a piece of it off. We put this piece back. And now we roll it up really, really thin. Now that we have rolled up our dough, it's really thin, we get a glass that has a perfect circular shape, maybe around this size, and you press it into the dough, you turn it, here we go, one circle is done. You got to try to fit as many as you can in one dough slice. Here we go. 5 dough slices ready. Now we gotta get a plate, sprinkle some flour, and so we made these little circles. Now we put some filling inside of them. I've already tried it for salt and pepper. Tastes amazing. Gonna get some filling, put it in the middle, grab by another hand, so on the table, put your fingers in the flour, and then you start from the middle. So you stretch one piece of dough, pinch it in the middle, and then you go from here, stretch, pinch, and so on. Stretch, pinch. You gotta make sure that none of the filling comes out of the dough. Otherwise it's gonna fall apart. Stretch, pinch, so on. Once you approximately pinched it, then you start from the end and just the top. You squish it together to make sure it's nice and tight. And then once you've done that, you start from one end, grab it, twist, together, 1 centimeter apart, twist, put together, twist, together, twist, together, twist, together, twist, together, twist, together. Here it is. So one of our dumplings will be with a surprise with some nuts.
What does it mean?
Let's say in this case nuts will be for smartness and for strength. Whoever gets them is the lucky one. Comes up, put them together, and twist, 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 twist. Here it is, the one with the surprise. So I finished making out of dough dumplings, vareniki, a vegetarian dish, and I boiled some water. I added salt, and now carefully, one by one, you don't drop them in, you just place them in. You'll find out when they're ready when they start floating up. Also, you can't put them in cold water. You gotta wait for the water to boil up so it's hot, and then you put them in. So now, as they have floated up to the water, to the surface, take out one by one and place it in our sauce. Now that we have finished cooking our dish with some fresh vegetables, some tomatoes, some cucumbers, we wash everything and we can try our masterpiece. Tastes amazing.